Hi everyone, welcome back to another live stream on Faraday Academy. And today we're going to be starting and hopefully finishing the MVP for a new API in Django REST API. So if you're here, then go ahead and say hi in the chat. Hi Jared, hi Cigar, hi William from Boston. Boston's my favorite city, by the way. I actually grew up there. Hi Bellabees, I think. Hi Varun, how are you all? Also, very important, today's my birthday and I'm getting a cake delivery later. So this might be, like a 3 or 4 hour live stream, and I will be taking a break in the middle to go and eat cupcakes, which is very important. So if you want to send me virtual cupcakes, then feel free to do that too. Thank you. Awesome. And I couldn't think of a better way to spend my birthday than coding all day. All right, so this is the repo, and if I set this up right, thanks everyone. Yay, cupcake. If I set this repo up correctly, or if I set the stream up correctly, there should be a link in the description to this repo here. So you should see Free Code School Indie Student Management System. It's a public repo. And yeah, it's just information. I did write out the requirements, what we're going to be doing in this video, as well as the schema and not all of the API endpoints, but the ones that are going to be used in the end application. So we're not building the front end today, but the front end will be using these. Yeah, and then version 2. So basically, I'm going to get started doing the user first so that I can go ahead and set up the database and all that stuff. Because if you know Django, save you a piece. If you come to Indianapolis, I'll share as much as you want. So Django uses username by default, so we have to change that right away. So we use email for the default user login, and then we'll go down and set up all these other models. We're also going to be setting up token authentication and protecting endpoints. And then if we have time after, or maybe in another special stream, we'll set up... Oh, okay. So Jared is actually the one building the front end for this application, so he'll be streaming on Twitch later. So I guess I'll post that link later if you want to see him building a Vue.js application for the front end. Cool. Yeah, so I'll set up token authentication, and then if I have time, I will set up, or at least start to set up, GitHub authentication. I don't think I said what this app was for. Sorry. This is basically for keeping track of the students and student information and giving us some admin features for our free coding school. And then this will be open source, so anyone else who wants to start a free coding school can also use this code and this repo for free. Yeah, we should all just get cake and have a virtual mukbang cake session for my birthday. That would be awesome. All right. Yeah, so this is for student management for these free coding school groups that we set up one here, and other people are also hopefully setting them up right now, or working to set them up around the world. Okay. Yeah, so that's basically the overview. If you have any questions, you can let me know. I did already create the app in GitHub to set up GitHub Auth, just in case I started it today, so I could save the keys locally so no one sees my secret keys in the stream. So we'll see how far we get there. All right, so I created this folder so I can do Django. So I'm going to create a new Django project here. So I think it's Django admin and then start project. Yeah, that's the same thing I did last time. Okay, good. what should I call this project? I guess I'll call it Free Code School API. Sounds good. And now I have the API folder, so I'm going to CD into that folder. And then I'm going to open this up in my VS Code. All right. And now let me rearrange my windows really quickly. Put my browser in the middle. That's how I like it. All right. And now I'm going to, okay, so now I have my manage.py file and I have this basic, I guess, API. It doesn't, so this is just regular Django. It doesn't have Django REST Framework installed yet. So I'm going to have to set this up. And I also have a few housekeeping. So on this repo, if you go to projects, the projects tab on the repo, I have a few issues that I created so I can kind of step through and check off tasks or drag them over to the done column. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so the first thing, create Django project, which I just did. Then I'm gonna change around the config and naming so it's a little bit nicer. I need to generate a get ignore file for my project, and then I'm gonna add linting setup. So why don't I go ahead and do the get ignore and get that out of the way so I'm not pushing PyCache files again like I usually forget to do the first time. So let me go to getignore.io, and this only takes a second. So basically, I guess TopTal bought them. I think they were advertising that they wanted to be bought, and then TopTal went and bought them, which was a smart move. Okay, so I'm going to say Django and Python. And then I don't think they have VS Code. Maybe Vim? Yeah, just in case. Okay, I'm going to create this get ignore file. Cool. And then I'm going to copy this generated file, and then I'll create a get ignore here. Get ignore. All right. So I'll paste all that in. I'll save it. Yeah, save that. Okay. One housekeeping item out of the way. Let me drag that to done. And then set up linting. Okay. So I already, basically, I need to create a VS Code folder in here. And then I'm going to use Flake 8 for linting. I used to use PyLint, but Flake 8 is just so sweet and so nice. So all I need to do is, let's see, I have notes here because I always forget the linting. One second. So, okay, so I need a VS Code folder and then a settings.json file inside. So I'm going to create that here. New folder, I'm going to say .vs code. Okay, and now inside this, I'm going to say settings.json. And then I'm just going to paste my settings. Basically, I'm setting my editor tab size to 4 because I'm using Python. So I want 4 spaces when I hit tab. And yeah, setting it to Flake 8. That's basically it. Okay, so save that. Now that's all done. And now, okay, so my setup is done. And now I am going to change the main app folder and add a new folder. So if you know Django, you know it's built of your main project, which is what I created here, and then it's built with all these apps. But it gives you this default app out of the box with the same name as your project. And you have your settings file and your main URLs and all that stuff in here. But it's confusing because the folder, the outer folder is named Free Code School API, and then it gives this inner folder the same name. So I'm going to actually change this folder name to config. I think that makes it a little bit more clear. But then now in my manage.py file, I need to find all instances of Free Code School API. Oh, there's only one. Okay. And then, oops, undo. What did I do? No, exit. Yeah. One more time. Let me try that again. Find and replace. And then change it to config because that's talking about the folder name. That's a package in Python. Okay, so I changing that to config to access the correct folder. And then in here, let me search through the rest actually. And because I think there's a few places, Free Code School API, I think there's a few spaces in the rest of the application. Some of these are just comments, but which I don't want to change. And some of them are actual places where I do want to change it to config because it's trying to access the file. So it's going to be config.urls. This will be, oops, config.urls. Okay, that's just a comment. This is now just a comment. This is oops, undo. Config.settings. Okay, I think there's one more. Yeah, WSGI, which I'm not going to be using, I think, but just so it's set up correctly. Okay, now all of that is done. My folder name change is good. So let me go back here. And now let me add a folder to put all my apps in for Django. So I'm going to create a new folder called apps. And all of the apps I create are going to be inside of this folder. So I'm going to create a users app so I can go ahead and set up the users API. Wait, did I do all this? Yep, I did all of this setup. Put it. Okay, so set up the user model. So let me create that user app first. Oh, before I do anything, first let me create a virtual environment. Almost forgot to do that. So before I go installing random things in my global space, so python-m, and now I'm going to set up a virtual environment and I'm going to call it venv. Enter. Let's see. Okay. And now if I go over, yeah, now I have my venv directory here. Good. Let me just make sure that venv, my virtual environment's in my git ignore. Let me search for that. Yes. No. Yes, it is. Okay, good. So my venv folder. Good. So I'm not committing that into git. All right. So now let me get into my venv. So source venv bin activate. And now I can do whatever I want because I'm inside my virtual environment. So the first thing, just to set up the front end repo. Oh, good. I actually didn't watch your stream, but if you don't know, Jared and I are both organizers for this free coding school project where we provide curriculum and learning environment and classes and everything that students need to learn for free over a 3-month period, learn how to code. And it's been a lot of fun together. But we need more management tools, which is why we're building this app. Okay, to be more organized. So Free Code School API. So let me install, let me do pip install, Django REST Framework. Let me copy paste that so I have it right. Django REST Framework setup. Here. Pip install Django REST Framework. Okay. It's installing, and then I'll pip freeze that to save that dependency requirements.txt file. Okay, pip version. Why am I using that pip version? I think Python. Yeah, I'm using Python 3.6. That doesn't really matter. I could be using Python 3.8. I have PyEnv, so I keep switching back and forth. And the company I work for uses Python 3.6, so that's why I have it currently. But that won't make a big difference right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade pip though. Cool. So pip is upgraded. Now I will do pip freeze. Save that dependency. Okay. And now I can create my app. So I'm going to tell Django to create the users app so I can start building the users API. Python manage.py start app. Yeah. Oh, wait. Because it's inside my apps folder and not in the root directory, I need to first create that folder. So I'm going to make directory inside of apps. I'm going to say users, because otherwise Django's going to throw an error and say the folder doesn't exist for some reason. Okay, and now I can Python manage.py start app. Yeah, start app. I keep getting confused between create app and start app. It's start app and then apps/users. Oh, wait. I have to, it's called users and I'm putting it inside of app/users. Okay. So the name of the app and then the location. Okay. Seem to have worked. Let's see if the new app is there. Inside apps. Okay, app/users does indeed have all this stuff. Good. It's just showing both of these because there's no other folders inside apps. But I will create, so since this is a package structure, I need to create an init.py file. Just an empty init.py file. Okay. And now I have my users folder inside of apps. And that should have, yeah, that automatically has an init.py file. Great. All right, so I have that. Now in my config, I need to tell my settings. Let's see, I need to first tell it that I'm using Django REST Framework. Nope. Django REST Framework. And then I need to tell it about my, let's see, apps.users, about my apps.users file. Or, yeah, my apps.users app. Okay. Because it's in the apps folder. All right, so I have that set up. Flake 8 is not installed. Oh, I guess inside this virtual environment it's not. Let me install it. All right. Cool. Flake 8 is now installed. So if you use Flake 8, down here it will show you the problems that you can fix, and I like going through them manually and fixing each one. Oops, what am I doing? Nope, exit. Okay. So yeah. So how's everything going? Is everything clear in the stream so far? I'm going to go ahead and be setting up the user models and the views for the user. And I think this is definitely the most finicky part of setting up Django, and why you're also supposed to do it first. So let me see. Serialization, I don't want any of that. So let me go to, great. So Django REST Framework user setup. And it's easiest, they have a pretty good tutorial. Is it Quick Start? Where they take you through setting up users, but for some reason in their documentation, I always have a hard time finding exactly what I want. Let's see. It's not under... Oh, I guess, okay. So I do need to set up a serializer to get the data how I want, and then set up a view, and then set up user URLs. So what I might do is just use my previous project as a reference. I'll bring that up here. So I have github.com. I'll just find it from going to GitHub. So let me go to here. This is the repo. So I'll post a link in the chat too, if you can see that. Cool. All right, so this is an app that I set up recently. It's also a Django REST Framework application. So of course I set it up the same way because this is just how I prefer to set up my apps, my Django apps. So I have all of these, and so it's real finicky how to set up the user model in Django. So let's see. Let me start with the Django router, because Django REST Framework, it's not, I mean, you still have your, let me zoom in so you can see this. Okay, so you still have your user, this is in, by the way, in users urls.py file. So you still have your regular URL patterns list, like you do in regular Django, but it gives you this special router, this Django REST Framework router. So I'm actually going to copy this because I want pretty much the same thing for my users here. So, oh wait, I'm in models right now. Let me go to, oh, I forgot. Django doesn't create a urls.py file for you, so you just have to create that file. All right, so I created a user urls.py inside of my users app. Okay, so now I have this, and I'm registering the user's route here, but you can see the path is empty, and this is because I need to reference this as /users in my config URLs. So right now I only have the admin interface set up because Django just gives me that by default. So let me do path, what should I say, users. And the accessibility for this might change. I just want to be able to pull all users. The app name should be REST Framework. Thank you. Thank you. I think I set that up wrong. Let me do that in just 1 second. So here, I'm going to have to import. What was it I had to import? Man, I have to look up so many things. No, not in apps, actually in my config. So in my config here, in my URLs, yeah, I need to import include, and then include the path to the URLs. So include, yeah, and then the path. So it will be apps dot, what's the folder name? Users dot URLs. So I'll include those URLs under users /. And actually the prefix that I want for this as well isn't just users /. Oh, now everything is zoomed in. I guess that's okay. Isn't just users /. If I look at my API here, I want there to be API v1, so I can properly make this API. So I'm gonna just prefix, and I've always done this manually. I don't think there's a way to do this globally. Also my admin route, I mean, I don't want to, oh, I can nest routes, but anyway, let me just do API v1 users, and then admin I don't want to put in the same thing because they're going to log into the admin interface separately. Okay, so include, so I need to import include here. So include. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and then you brought up it should be REST framework. You're right. Um, this needs to be REST framework. Thanks. Okay, so that should be properly done now. Also, I think there are a few other things for the REST framework. This is the GitHub auth stuff. So let me look up Django REST Framework quick start and make sure that I set it up correctly. All right, so it took me through creating the app. I'm not going to do migrations yet. Okay, setting up serializers, views. Yeah, I'm doing all that stuff. Installed apps. Okay, so I think it's just installed apps, and then I get to set up my views and URLs and everything normally. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so now I have my users' URLs being imported. Please look in the settings file. Please look at what in the settings file? Let me know what I should be looking at. I know I have a bunch of Flake 8 errors, but I'm gonna fix that in a second. All right, so let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be using Postgres as well. Let me add that to my tasks, my dev tasks list. Set up Postgres. And that's actually pretty easy to set up. So I think before my first migration, because on my first migration, it's going to create a SQLite database because I have, where is it? I have this set up, so I might just go ahead and copy my Postgres so I can, properly use it without having to configure it later. Okay, so let me do that as part of my setup then. If I go to my other repo, I'm just going to copy my Postgres setup from here. So my settings, I'm going to go to, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm going to need this plugin as well, but I'll do that later. Where is my Postgres? Here it is. So Postgres, I'm going to have to create the Postgres user. So I'll go into the pSQL in the terminal and do that. Let's see. Anything else I need? Oh yeah, I'll have to set up the media and stuff. So, man, there's a lot of configuration. Dockerized app, dev end of this. Yes. So actually I do have, so my curriculum app, I Dockerized that. I've been planning on making a video about how I'm Dockerizing and deploying it because I actually use Docker Compose and Dockerize the front end and back end separately, and they're running separately and talking to each other. So I do want to do a video about Dockerizing, and maybe I'll do it live. Let's see. Okay, so first, get rid of that. And now I need to create this user. Hopefully I remember how to do that in pSQL, Postgres. So the name of my database is not going to be that. It's going to be, let's see, free, what did I call it before? Okay. So free code school. That sounds good. Okay, because there's only going to be one database running anyway, but I have a bunch locally, so that'll be good. so user, I'll have to create this user, which will be FCS admin. Okay, for right now, host is localhost. That's completely fine. And then since I'm working on settings, when I upload files or images, I need a place to put those. So I'm going to just copy these to my media root and the URL to access that media. So I'm going to paste those there. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot of config. All right. Let's go back to users now, as I think I'm good. Yeah, if you see I'm missing something, then let me know. Okay, I'll have to do that. And I need to create this table actually. Let me just go ahead and do that because I'm gonna forget. So let me go open another terminal window, and I'm gonna go into, man, what is it? I already have Postgres running locally on my machine. So don't need to run it because I'm running it with Homebrew because I'm on a Mac. So PSQL, I'm just going to hit up and hope some command comes up. Postgres user Gwen. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm inside the Postgres shell. And now what am I doing? Oh yeah, create database free code school. Sweet, that worked. Okay, create database free code school, and then can I do use database? Use free code school. I don't know. Let me see. So I created the database. I'm gonna have to look this up. So Postgres, drink water. Thank you. I should. Sorry if I was making noise into the mic. I forget I'm doing that sometimes. So Postgres create, I guess, admin user for database. Creating user database and adding access on Postgres. I hope this is in the terminal. Yeah. Okay, so create database. Okay, so I need to do create user, my user. Oh, this isn't the actual command. I was like, that's an awful long, very human-like command. Okay, so create db sudo u postgres granting privileges. Okay, here's what I want to do with pSQL in the terminal. Create user. All right, so I'm gonna type this out. Thank you. Create user. So create user, your user. Let me zoom in. So I should do create user, your user. It's recommended all caps, but it works with lowercase too. So my user is the one I set up in Django is FCS admin, and then with encrypted password. I'm just not going to put a password right now. So there we go. Okay, so I created that user, and now I'm going to, let me copy the first part of this. My trackpad is broken, so I have another mouse here. It's not broken. For some reason, it's stuck in clicked mode. So I don't know if I have to take this computer apart or what. But it's like 5 years old, so maybe it's time for a new computer. Okay, so grant all privileges on database free code school to, and then the username. So my username, let me just put it uppercase, is FCS admin. FCS admin. Okay. Sweet. And that's it. That's it. What a great tutorial. I wish I could clap, but I'm not logged in. Just short, sweet, and to the point. All right. So what am I doing now? Okay, let me exit this and go back here. Okay, so I've taken care of the database. I did a lot of the setup. I'm going to get out of my settings file now. Get out of there. And now I am in my users again. So in my users, I'm going to need to, I guess, create my views first. So my views, I'm going to need the serializer, and I'm going to need the regular users view. So let me see, what should I do first? I'm actually going to start off with what I'm using in my other project again. So let me go into apps here, into my users app, and in my views, actually let me start with models. I think that makes more sense. So yeah, this is, there's so much boilerplate. So I'm going to start just doing one thing at a time. So custom user manager, basically because I don't want to use username for login, I need to create a custom user manager first. Of course, that extends from the base user manager, or the class extends from that class. So let me copy the top part here and had a thought. How do we handle group projects? So when the students are working on teams, I have no idea. No idea. I hadn't even thought of that. So how would we handle group projects? So we do, so in this API, or in our schema, we have, let's see, we have projects that the students are supposed to do. But these are just a list of what the project is. And then the student can submit their project, and this is, has the student ID, the project ID, and the URL to the project that the student submitted. There's no way to assign a project to a student, and there's no way to say more water. Wait 1 second. And there's no way to say that this group of students is working on a project together. On the user page, you would see your projects with a link to the pen repo, glitch, a grade, but how do they see who else worked on it? I don't know. Give me some suggestions. How do we extend the schema of the database to join them using primary foreign keys? These are foreign keys, so we're going to set these up with foreign keys. Some of these tables will be generated. I think we have some many-to-many or one-to-many relationships. What did I do here? Oh, I was trying to figure out how I was going to handle this table, so I put some extra info. Maybe project ID will be the same for students working in the group. So project ID, yeah, there should be some kind of ID. The thing about project is this is just a general project. Like say we're doing a Google lookalike page, all the students need to build it. The title will be Google lookalike page, the description will be whatever. and then the URL to the project requirements or whatever. So all students will be assigned this. So if a specific group of students, so all students will have the same project ID here when they submit. So for a group, I don't know, we might have to have another project group table here so that the students can be in the same group somehow. And the project group table will be related to project. And then in the student submission, so project group can be null, a project ID can be nullable, and instead they can, or no, we can have an optional field called project group ID. Thank you, Praveen. A project, instead of being a string of the URL, could be an object with the URL and the users that worked on a project. An object, though, I really don't like doing that in a relational database. It would be okay if I was using like Dynamo or Mongo or something. That would be easy. But I think, what if we did have a student group submissions table, and then where am I? Student submission. This should be like student project submission or something. I don't know. So we have project. Maybe we should have project groups, and then we have the groups. I don't know. We'll have to think about this because we're not even close to that part of the project yet. Also, we need a way for them to highlight the project. Okay. Oh yeah, highlighted project. Okay. We're getting so far ahead of where we are right now. But yeah, those are all good ideas. Why don't you create an issue with those ideas if you can? And that way we save them for later and they don't get lost. Okay. Set up Postgres. Okay, Postgres. I'm gonna drag that over here. All right. And let me go back to the code. So yeah, I'm setting up the user models. So creating the user manager. So this, when a regular user is created, basically saying that the email is required, user email, setting it as the default field, and then, okay, I'll set it as email instead of username in the actual user model. So let's see. So yeah, the user manager looks like I'll be using the same thing because it already has users and by the way, this is fairly similar to what's in the Django REST Framework docs. I think it's in the REST Framework docs, creating this user manager and stuff. So you can always find it there with some more details, I guess. Okay. And then let me just look at this. Okay. And then, so I have this user class now. And here are my fields for the user class. And I'm going to add another field, I think. And then username field, I'm telling it to use email instead of user, which is important for login because I want to log in with email. And then custom user manager, I'm telling it I want to use this user manager instead of the default one. Okay, so the default string will be email. It has permission. Everyone has every permission. I don't know. I'll leave these alone for right now. Those are just functions, so I can change those. Okay, so is active, is admin, is staff, email. That's all good. And then I'll have password functionality. What else? Let's see. Oh, I need to do, for this particular app, I want to have a Boolean here that is student equals models. Right now, volunteers won't be able to log into this site. It's just going to be, unless you think we need that right now, Jared, but I was thinking about doing that in the future. And right now, an admin can add volunteers with volunteer information because we have a bunch of volunteers for our coding school, and we want, everyone to be able to manage their own profiles in this app. But I think right now we just really need the students to be able to log in. So is student will be a Boolean field, and the default will be false. Yeah, because when students sign up, we'll just set that to true. Look at the SMS repo README to see the register section. Okay. Can you post a link in the chat for that? Are you talking about where the front end is? The student management system front end? Okay. Is student, is active, is admin, is staff. That, I think those are the only things that I need. Let me look at is it here? No, so it must be in the front end. Okay. Let's see, groups. Okay, so groups is something that Django gives me. So this isn't, I don't have to directly set this up on my user model here, and I'm going to be using that for auth. Thank you, Gerardo, is it? Thanks for the cake. So I don't need to set that up. Django gives me some nice group options later. Student profile, I will be setting this up in my users models, and that's going to be a separate model. But let's see, let me just get users set up first. So I got the user here. User profile. I guess I can go ahead and set up this since I'm in the models, and then this will be the last thing that I need to do. Okay. So user profile class. All right. And let me look at my, let's see. Okay, so I need first name, last name, and preferred name fields. So this is the foreign key to the user because each user needs to have a user profile. And basically I separate these two instead of putting them on the user because these things are really for access and authentication, authorization, stuff like that, logging in. Those are important for being able to access the site. And then these are just information about the user. So I have a foreign key or a one-to-one field with user because each user should only have one profile. I don't see a reason to have more. And let's call this, okay, so I need preferred name, which will be a char field just like first name and last name. And then image. So actually I didn't have image here, but I should have image. So I'm going to leave that. Have a profile image. And then I'm going to have, let's see, Discord name, because we basically connect Discord, GitHub, CodePen, all those things for the students, because students are continuously pushing code or submitting code on those, and they also build their portfolio on those sites. Okay, so let me get rid of this. Okay, Discord name will be models dot, yeah, this will just be another char field, and with max length of, I mean, it's not even going to be close to 100, but let me copy this a couple times because I have GitHub username and what else? CodePen username, and FCC profile URL. This might be a little bit longer. Char field is fine. Let me put 255 for this. I really don't know how long it's going to be. Current level. Now, this will be, let's see, this will be a char field with options. So you have to select one of the available options. So right now in our classes, we have level 1, where if students are in level 1, they learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and a little bit of a JavaScript framework, either Vue or React. And then in level 2, they learn backend. So they learn Node, Express, a little bit of Mongo, and database stuff over a 12-week period. So currently we only have 2 levels. So let me do current level equals models dot char field. And then here I think I need to do choices. Is it choices? And then pass it levels. And then let me make a choices, or let me make a levels list or tuple. Okay, with the levels in it. So let me look this up real quick. So Django char field choices. How to properly use choices field in Django. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Yes. It is a tuple with tuples. Asked 6 years ago, but this is still the same anyway, I think. Oh, it's generating a list. But I think the code in the question is right based off of the ones I've made. Okay, so I just need to make, yeah, they cannot be changed, but nobody will be changing these anyway. So let's see. Actually, okay, so this will be an integer field, not a char field. So it'll be an integer field. And I think I can pass choices to an integer field. It could be a dict, right? I'm actually not sure because I've always used tuples for this. So I think I can do the description level 1 and then, oh wait, let me do this. Okay, and then level, so it's stored in the database as a 1 or a 2, just an integer, but, and that way we can update the names of these later. Okay, so choices, levels. Let me look at Django integer field choices. Make sure. Set Django interval field by choices. Okay. So this is the thing. These questions have been asked over 10 years ago. So let me look on Google and see if it gives me newer questions. Django integer field. This is from 2017. So this should be up to date. Oh, it's generating a list comprehension. List, zip, range. Okay. I think okay, I think I'm right. So I'm just gonna do this. I can always change it to a char field and change these to strings if I need to later. Okay, so you can select their current level. That's good. Issues created. Thanks, Jared. Okay, now phone and time zone. So let's see. Phone will be easy. That's just I'm just gonna put it as a char field and then do validation before it hits this. Not yet, not yet. 1 second. So phone will be, let me just finish setting up this char field. So actually there's a localization library I might use later to properly configure phone. And right now everyone is from the US, so phone will be easy, but if we ever need this to expand to other places, then we need to consider how we're going to handle phone numbers. So I'm just doing a char field. They can enter anything. We'll have to change that in the future. And then time zone. So how are we going to do time zone? I could just leave it as a string for now. And then again, I might have a localization library to handle standardizing time zones. Okay, so I have the user profile set up exactly how I want. So this is probably ready to run my first migration. Let's see. Let me make sure. So images uploads to profile images. So Django will create basically a media file here because that's what I put in my settings. I said I wanted it inside a media file, and then inside that media folder. And then inside that media folder, there will be another folder called profile images where all of the user profile images will be uploaded to. Okay, that's good. What else do I want to do? Okay, that's it for right now. Gender. Do I need gender? That gets complicated. Yes, I do have email. So email, because that's used for login, is on just the base user model here. User profile is just all the extra fluffy stuff, but they're related, so we can pull both for students. Okay, so yeah, because I won't need to use email because I can access it via this one-to-one anyways. So when I pull user profile, I can always access the user email. Okay, so I think that's good. All these other ones, all the other tables I can add later. Why don't I run my first migration? Let's see. Now that I have the database table, let's see, Python manage.py. Let me try to run the server first and see if I have any grievous errors. Oh, yes, I didn't install this package for Postgres. So let me pip install that first. Clear pip install this. And I think it's going to complain 1 or 2 more times because for image uploads, I'm pretty sure I need an external package and a couple other things. Okay, so let me see. So let me try to run it again. So Python manage.py run server. They're going to upload a profile image. Okay. Cannot import user view set. Oh, because I where is it? Oh, here. Because I haven't created the views yet. That's why. I'm importing something that doesn't exist. But that's fine. So I think that means it's configured properly. So let me run the migration and then I'll fix that views file. And then I can test out the API finally. All right, so it's been over an hour already and time just flies by. 1 second. Okay, so Python manage.py. Let's make migrations. Oh, so I do actually have to have an error-free app to migrate. All right, let's go ahead and fix that then. Let me just get a basic view set from here. So let me go into my reasonably productivity backend app, which I posted in the chat earlier if you're just tuning in, so you can come here. I've been kind of building off of this code because it's pretty similar to what I want to do so far, and then it's going to diverge pretty soon. But all this user stuff is so boilerplate filled that it's just easy to copy from another project. Okay. All right, so Django REST Framework. So if you use Django, you probably just create the views class and that's it. Or you can use a function, whatever you want. But in the REST framework, you need this serializer. So I've already created that. And let me just make sure that it's what I want for this project. So let me move my face actually. Or if I can make that, yeah, over to the very edge. Good. Hopefully that's better. If you can still see my face there. Okay. So I need this serializer. Let's see. I get user model. So I have to define the model in the serializer, and we already created that in the models file. Where is it? The user model. So that's going to be my default user model, and I actually have to update that in settings, telling it where my default user model is. And now in my views, so every other model that I'm going to do, like volunteer, all the other models I'll have to import, but Django, because user is special, because you use it for auth and everything, so it gives you this special import for user models. So I just imported that instead of importing it directly from the models file to be consistent. Okay, so this is for creating the user write only min length. Okay, so I set some password requirements. Nobody can see the password when they're pulling in from the API, and the min length of the password has to be 8 characters. No other requirements. Fields, email, password are needed to create a user. I'm also going to put is student here, which is the Boolean field. So you need to denote if it's a student. I might be setting that automatically, I'm not sure. Okay, so this view basically will use the query set. So this is basically lets me do different requests, like a get request and get all the user objects back. And I think I'm only going to be using that for okay, so there is a username and password or email and password option. I'm not going to set up GitHub auth yet, but I just want to get this authorization stuff set up first so people can log in via email, password, or via GitHub if they want. I know, I'm getting to GitHub, but I'm not there yet. Okay, so no, what? Should I not let them log in at all? That's going to change the whole planning for this. I think they should be able to use an email password if they want, and then have the option to do social login via GitHub. Okay, so you need these 3 things to sign up. Extra, I think that's it. So user.objects.all. So wait, why am I importing user here? I think I can just use this. So I'm going to do this here too, because I'm being inconsistent with myself. So, and now I don't need this to import the user model at all because Django's doing that for me. Now, one more settings. I need to set the default user here. So, okay, I don't think It's just using the default. So I need to add a user setting here. And oops, let me go to my config settings.py file. And there's one option, I can't remember what it is. Okay, so auth user model. This is what I need to do. Okay. Oh, cores. Yeah, I'll have to do a lot of stuff. All right, so here I'm gonna do users.user, which is referencing my users app and then the user model on that app. Okay, now it should be ready to migrate. Let's see if I can run a migration. All right, so I'll do python manage.py. I was hoping this would be simplified, less backend and front end code, easier for the students to just know, create a GitHub account. Yes, so much config. That's really how setting up Django is. One account for all the stuff they need. Yeah, and I agree, but I want to set up this user auth stuff because eventually, like version 2 of this app, volunteers will be able to log in, maybe auditors, I don't know, but I want the email password login option, and then we want to have students sign up with GitHub. Admins can also add users into the app as well. So they can set up a temporary password for the users. So let's see, make migrations. Python manage.py. Users, user profile image. Cannot use image field. Pillow. I knew there was another thing. Okay, so pip install pillow. That's for image, for using image uploads, because that's not in Django by default. Okay, we can we can just not give a front-end option for username password, but from the admin area, you'll still be able to use a user or to add a user with a username and password. Okay, and let's see. Okay. You're like, okay, that's fine, I guess. What did I just do? Oh yeah, let me try the migrations again. Make migrations. Please work. Yes, awesome. Sweet. So let me look at my new migrations. So I got my initial migration, and then I got the migrations to, these are basically creating the tables for me. So it's setting up the migrations for me. Sweet. So now let me actually do the migrations. Run them. So python manage.py migrate. And this also is running the built-in migrations, like admin, content types, the built-in Django migrations as well, plus my migrations. Okay, I waited to do the migrations because with Django it's just better usually if you do if your first round of migrations includes setting up users, because that seems to be the hardest thing to do in Django. And also why last time I had to revert so many migrations, delete the database, and do all kinds of funky stuff. Okay, so now let me cross my fingers and try to run the server. Run server. Sweet! Okay, let me go to port 8000. Localhost 8000. Awesome! And it says it's giving me a 404, but you can see it's telling me that I need to be going to /admin or /API/v1/users. So let me go to /admin. Of course, I don't have a super user created, so I can't log in here yet, but I'll do that in a second. Okay, let me go to the API, see if that works. v1/users. Awesome. So this is just an interface that Django REST Framework gives me for development. And now, cool, I can add a student here instead of using a REST client to make API calls. I can just do it straight from this form. Of course, this form isn't going to show up on the front end. Okay. Okay, so get, I can do get, but of course I have no users yet. So let me add a student user real quick. Let me call it student1 at example.com. That's another thing I need to set up is email management, which is actually much easier in Django versus other frameworks. Let me just add a task here. Email management setup. I'm probably going to use Mailgun for it. That seems to be the easiest thing. And because that other thing I tried, what was it? SendGrid, they thought I was a spam bot and just would not, for the life of me, I could not set up an account with them. Okay. I'm going to set up a password. Oh, you can see it. 10 characters. So hello Moto. It's 10. And then I'm going to just check off is student. Post. Oh. Unexpected keyword argument is student. I tried fiddling with Django several years back, quickly realized it's not for me. Now I'm happy with Spring. Okay, cool. I worked in Spring for like 7 months at a company. Yeah, I think, well, they both have that verbosity, but Spring is more so because it's written in Java, of course. And Python's just a simpler language. What do you like better about Spring, by the way? Okay, let me figure out. Create user got an unexpected argument is student. So I'm missing the is student somewhere. Because I added it here in the user class. So let's see. Email, custom user manager. Let me see if, let me look at my views. So I have it set up correctly here. It's also in my model. So I wonder if I need it in my model manager. I think I do need it here. Oh, in serializer? Am I doing it wrong? Get user model, fields, email password is student. Extra arguments, that's fine. And then I pass all the validated data to create user, which it's throwing an error here when I'm running this create function. So I think I need it here, don't I, in the user manager? User equals self.model email, set password, and then saving the user. So no, I don't know. You know, let me see. There's my error. So got an unexpected keyword argument. I'm just gonna look. Oops, create user. I'm gonna look this up unless someone else has an idea what I'm doing wrong. So let's look at Django REST Framework. Got an unexpected keyword argument. Well, to be honest, I use Spring Boot rather than just Spring. It makes life so much simpler. But with Django, I felt like overly complicated very soon, especially when you scale up. So I haven't scaled a Django app to be very large yet. I mean, like, who used Django? Reddit and those companies. So I don't know how they're doing with it, but it gives you so many things out of the box, like authentication, mail services, database, your migrations. There's just so much. Oh, the admin interface is probably the best feature of Django. So if I need an app with an admin interface, like for a client, especially as a freelancer, I think Django's probably the best fit for those kind of apps. Let me see if something better on Google. Serialization error, custom user model. Wow, this is hard to read. What? Okay, going back. Um, how to solve Django, create user unexpected keyword. See, there aren't a lot of questions and answers for Django REST Framework specifically. So, doesn't take, secondly, create user doesn't take all of the field names as arguments. It only takes username, email, and password. Again, you need to set the other fields afterwards yourself. Okay, so I need to set it afterwards. So I wonder in my, in my views, am I supposed to do it here in this custom create method? Like you said in the serializer? Because I'm getting it, so this is just for the get and some config options. And then in create, when I'm actually creating the user, I'm getting all the validated data back. So, but it should pass all the fields. Let me see. This is heavily lacking context to this answer. Creating a new user and then set password. Yeah, this is for how I do it without the Django, or without Django REST Framework. Oh wait, here's a Django REST Framework question. Let me zoom in. Unexpected keyword base name. They mentioned that. Oh, that's not at all. Okay, let me look in the docs. Take a look at the network tab to see what is being passed to create user. Let me see. All right, let me try again. Let me do post. So let's see, I get a 500. So let's see. I mean, it's passing is student. Yeah. As true. And then name is student. So unexpected keyword argument is student. So it's not expecting is student. So there's some kind of setup that I need to do here for the extra field. Let me see in Django REST Framework. So where would it be in the API guide? I wonder if it would be in maybe serializer. Do I need to set it inside the create? Let me look in serializers. Okay. Importing serializers. Okay. I think I'm going to look directly in their user serializer, because I think like the comments saying on that Stack Overflow post is just expecting email, what is it? Email and password. Both create and update methods are optional on the serializer. Okay. Do I need a custom save method then? Because I have create, which is creating the user. Validation, field level validation. I wonder if it has a user. Sometimes let me zoom in here. Okay, so sometimes you'll want to view your code to be able to inject additional data at the point of the saving instance. This additional data might include information like current user, the current time. Serializer.save. No, let me look in the create method. Is there... No, it's not showing me. Okay, writing create methods for nested representation. Okay, so because I'm overwriting the default create method here. And it's showing this is the same thing I'm doing. So create validated data. Oh, I'll be wanting to do this to create profile, objects that create user profile, eventually. Fields, username, email, profile, serializer. Okay. Let me do get here again. Yeah, I don't know. There's another, I can also check out the Django REST Framework. Let's see. User creation. They have documentation on it. Django REST Framework authentication and permission. User authentication tutorial. Let's see. So authentication and permission, adding information to our model, adding endpoints. Let's see, adding information to the model. So okay, so it says now we can have a save method to our model class. I'm wondering, do I need a custom save method? I feel like this should work. Okay, import user serializer, associating snippets with users. Okay, I don't want to worry about permissions yet. Let me go back. Oops. Let me go here. User registration, create a new user. Create. Okay, user serializer, set password. Why isn't it accepting this extra field? It's not accepting the extra student field. And I mean, it's in, so is student is here, so it's in the database already. Default is false. I mean, what I could do right now is go into my, not my models, but my views. Since it has a default already, just so I can move on, I can take it out of here and Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. And then in the admin interface, I'll just have to add is student. Okay, so let me try to create another student. Oh, a user with that email already exists. What the heck? So it already exists. So it worked. So it worked to create the user, but it was giving me back a 404 page and a 500 error because something was happening after I created the user. That's weird. So student 2 at, and now let me log into the interface and see if that user is created with, yeah. Let me log in and see if that user was created with the student flag as true. So now I should have 1 as true and 2 as false. And to log into admin, I'm going to have to create a super user. So I'll do python manage.py create super user. Okay, and the email address for the super user, I'm going to put Gwen at example.com, password. Okay, created the super user. Now let me run the app again. Cool. And now I can go to localhost 8000/admin and I can log in as that super user I just created. So Gwen at example.com. Hello. Oh, I just gave you my password. Okay, it's just local though, so it doesn't matter. Oh, right. So I didn't register users in the admin area, so I can't see that. Groups, like I said before, is something default that Django gives me. So to use users, because I created a custom model for it, I have to register this in the admin area. So let me close those. Now in admin.py, I'm going to have to register my user model. I might be able to copy what I'm doing in here. So if you're, let me post this link in the chat again. I've kind of been using this repo that I created before as a reference because it's also Django REST API, but I'm going to go into apps. Let's see. Utils. No. What am I doing? Users. Admin. Okay, cool. So I set it up in the admin area already. That's perfect. I didn't set up the profile, but I can do that in this stream. So let me just copy these. And then, okay, so let's look at this. So basically, Django, okay, so I can just set admin.site.register. I need to register the models I want to be able to use from the admin area in this admin.py file. So now I can use user and user profile, but I want to make them custom. So that's why I'm passing in these custom objects. So it's not just registered with all the fields. I want there to be all these other options like sorting and how I want it to display and dividing it up into field sets and stuff like that. So let me see if this works. Let me go back to admin. Yeah, so my server restarted after I did that. So I should be able to restart. Sweet. So now I have users and user profiles. So if I go to users, I can see in the table email is staff and is admin. Okay, so let's see those 3 fields. So that's from this list display option, email is staff is admin. I also want is student here. So let me add, oops, is student to that table. Now if I refresh, it should add this option. Sweet. So no, none of the students. That's very weird. Okay. That's fine because now if I go into a student, let's say student 1. Okay, it's not giving me that option. Let's see. Permissions, fields, is admin, is staff. Okay, so I need to add it here so I see that option. So there is a lot of config in Django, isn't there? So is student. So let me add that. Is student option. Sweet. So now I can add is student, save. And now it's is student. Okay, good. So the admin can always update that. All right. So hi, Bello. How are you? Okay, so the admin is now set up for this. Filtering, ordering. Oh yeah. So filter, I can filter by is admin. That's basically what I added here, list filter. So I'm going to filter by is student or is admin. So is student, and then, okay. So now if I refresh, that should be added to my filtering options. Okay, so let's click yes. And now the table filters by is student. Now by is admin. Okay. So is staff, this Boolean Django gives me this by default, and that basically means that this user is allowed to log into the admin interface, and is admin is, you know, administrative privileges for everything. Okay, so I have that set up. Do I want search? So you can search by email. The ordering is alphabetical order by email. Okay, so now I should set up the user profile here. Let me go into user profile. So into this and see how it looks. Okay, so I don't have any user profile. So if I add one, okay, I can associate it with the user. I can add all of this information and then save it. Okay, so that's good enough for now, I guess. Let me go back to my dev tasks and see where I'm at. So I set up my user model. Let me drag that to done. So what should I do next? So let me go ahead and set up some of these other models, and then I'll get to all of the other config stuff I need to do. So let me set up the certificate model. By the way, because I'm using the Django REST framework and the router that comes with Django REST framework, I can look at any of these users basically by their ID. So I can make a GET request. I have HTTP request options. Just the router gives me all of those options, which is nice. Okay. So that's good. I actually want the user ID returned here as well. So let me see. Let me actually look in the request and see if the user ID is being returned. Wait. Here it is. So the user's request, let me look in the response. Oh, document, where is, wait, go away. What is that doing? I thought this was getting the JSON data, but it's getting the content type HTML. So I wonder if it's just sending me, wait, let me preview it. Yeah, so it's just sending me this. So it's not actually sending me the JSON, it's sending me this as HTML. So what if I want it to return the ID to me here? Like, because I don't just want the email, I want the ID too. So why won't it show me the ID? I think I might have to change that in, let's see, views. So fields. So fields, the ID is automatically generated, so I don't want to add it to fields here. But I want to get the ID back. So how do I do that? And let me see if I can look it up again. So Django REST Framework, get ID in, let's see, or maybe it's return ID with get request. Returning ID value after object creation, so after a post request. And I'm already doing this in my other app, so let's see. Yeah, that's not helpful. How to return ID. Oh, I think it does return the ID automatically. Get the ID of the object recently created. Let me try this out in an actual REST client, so I'm not getting a whole HTML file back. So http://localhost. By the way, this is a REST client just in my Firefox. That's literally called REST client. But it works the same way as Postman and all those other ones. Okay, so HTTP, let's see, localhost. Where is it running? This API is running on a port 8000 /API/v1/users. Moved permanently. Okay, well I got this back. I wonder if I need to let me set content type just in case, even though it gave me back JSON, but I don't know if, so I guess it won't help anything, but application JSON. Okay, so why am I not getting the ID back and returned? I need to return the ID. So Django. Hi Sergio. Thank you. Django REST Framework. Man, why is this so hard? What don't you think when you make a call for objects in a database to be returned, then you just naturally want the ID with those, because you do so many things with the ID on the front end, and even in the URLs. So I mean, where is it? Here I want to do users/user ID. How can I get the user ID if it's not returned here? This doesn't make sense. Am I doing something wrong? Django REST Framework, return user ID with get request. Is this the same thing I typed in before? I don't know. Django RESTful API. Here, how to get user ID. With Django, I like to look at any question. It's pretty relevant, I've found, even if it's within the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years. If it's before that, it's way too early, or they're probably using Django version 1, which isn't as relevant. Okay, so class album is, okay, so they have this model and this serializer, and they want to know how to get the user ID returned. Django REST Framework serializers uses a context to keep those things. It is used to find out association hostname with hyperlink serializers documentation here. By default, generic view to add the current request, which means you're able to do okay, so you can make a custom, basically it's saying you can make a custom function on a serializer to get whatever information you want. Let's see. Of course, here he's not directly calling, the asker of this question is not directly calling the user's endpoint with a GET request like I'm going to be doing. He's trying to use this other model to get the user ID, which is a foreign key. Or no, that's the artist. So maybe artist is the user? I don't know. Let's see. User ID. So they're getting it based off of the request. But I just want it sent back. That's all I want. I just want it sent back with a GET request. Return the ID of the object. Can API token auth return user ID? I haven't set up token auth yet. How to write an API in 3 lines of code. It's a lot more than 3 lines of code. Okay. Hi, how are you? I'm building a REST API in Django using the Django REST Framework for our free coding school. The link's in the description to this repo, so you can see the README and what I've been working on. Yeah, it's been almost 2 hours now. So I basically set up the users and all the Django config, the user models, the user profile model, and some of the admin interface. And now what I'm trying to do is right here. So I have /users, if you can see that, /users. I'm getting all the users back, but I'm only getting the email. I want the user ID returned. And I don't know what I'm doing, why it won't return the user ID. So fields, I wonder if I need to set it somewhere in the user serializer, don't I? Query set. I have the query set here, which should return all the information. So this query set in my view should have the, what is it? It should have the ID, the email, all the flags, like is admin. It should have all of that information. But why, when I make a GET request, am I only getting email? So fields here, I feel like this is just for the form, I think. This option. Let me see what it does. Oh, what the heck? That was all I had to do? Okay. Well, thanks for making me rubber duck it again, because apparently you helped me figure it out. Okay. So fields, it's returning ID now. It's not returning password because I set that as a write-only field. So it doesn't return that here. Man, and ID, I guess it won't give me the ID in the form because that's just a field that's generated by what do you call it? Postgres. Postgres generates the ID for each row. Sweet. Awesome. I'm so happy about that. What was that? Yeah, close all this, close that. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted. And now let me set up some more models. And I'll set up some more models, and I'll set up the admin interfaces for those models. First, though, let me push the code, so if anyone wants to see the code, they can feel free to do so. So let me do a git status first. Oh, it's not a git repo. Cool. So actually, since I created the repo and it has files in it already, let me think, because this repo has files in it already, which I usually don't do. I'm gonna need to merge git histories that aren't the same. So let me go to my local file and delete. Oh, I don't have a readme here. So let me see what happens. Let me do git init, initialize the git repository. So git remote, add origin, and then I'm gonna add the SSH, clone with this, or not clone, but okay, so git remote -v. Okay, so I have my repository, remote repository set up as origin. So let me do a git status now. I wonder if I can git pull. Oh wait, I have to do git pull origin master. Fetch. Okay, well, let me do git status now. So I have git ignore. So this VS Code folder, I need to ignore that. Apps, config, management, everything else looks good. So let me go into my git ignore and add it to the end here. Okay. So I should be ignoring that. And let me, just because this haunts me, PyCache, good, it's in my git ignore. So I will not be adding PyCache files. All right, so let me do another git status. All right, VS Code's not in there now, so I can do git add, just add everything. Git commit -m first commit. And now before I push, I'm gonna have to do pull. So already up to date. So did I don't even know. Oh, I pulled in my readme file already. What am I doing? Okay, so now I can do git push. I'm gonna set my upstream as origin master. Okay, and now the code that I wrote for the last almost 2 hours is live. Let me refresh this now. Sweet! So now if you go to the repo in the description, you can see all of the code updated, as well as this whole readme with the schema and everything. Cool. So before I go on, I'm going to look at these issues because someone else created these, not me. Handle group projects. That's something I'm going to do later. Projects you are proud of. What does that mean? Oh, allow a student to distinguish or highlight a project or projects they are proud of. Could be a Boolean or an object. Could just skip this and have their portfolio be the source of truth. Okay. Yeah, because eventually, if you look in the README, I'm going to scroll to the bottom. I have version 2 down here, where students will be able to have publicly viewable profile information with some of their projects and stuff on there. Did I look at the other issue? I looked at 2 issues. So yeah, so they'll have public profiles, so then it would be important. Thank you. This issue I created, so I know what's in this issue. Yeah, this is just me, GitHub social auth. Did you read the group projects? Oh, I guess I didn't carefully read it. I just looked at the title. Okay, relay a submitted project to multiple students. Let's see. Input field with URL to project students that worked on this project. Okay, students have control on their profile to paste in URL to their project, but they should not be responsible for adding or removing other users from a group. This could be derived automatically. Relate a submitted project to multiple students. Did you read it? Yes. Did you read it? No, just the title. Yeah. Okay, sorry. You caught me. You caught me. I thought I read it. I got confused. All right. Okay, but I'm not at projects yet. So I will do that when I get to projects. Okay, now I just need to blanket create a whole bunch of tables. And then I guess for right now, I'll set up URLs for them. I'm going to have to update the URLs, especially since some of them, like let me go down to my API. Some of them will be, I'll have a resource and then the item and then another resource. So I'm going to have to configure stuff like that a little bit different. But I'll set that up later. We can have /projects and /team projects. Okay. The projects are coming. Okay. This is the Django. Where is my other one? Okay, so in users. All right, let me set up my next model. So I'll set up the certificate model next. So what is in the certificate model? A lot of these are pretty similar. So certificate is just name, description, and then some of these are going to have created at, updated at. I'm still going. I'm going to take a break pretty soon though and get some coffee, track my walking for a minute so I don't get too far behind today on my Apple Watch. Okay, but I'm going to set up a couple other apps and models first. So I have this users app. So for all of these different types of things, I'm going to like projects, attendance. Attendance might go with students. Let's see, certificate. So I'm wondering, because I need to set up an app. I shouldn't set up a whole certificate app, should I? It should be something like, maybe I need a student app. And I'll put certificate in as a model in the student app. Because I'm not going to create a whole app for this. Yeah, I think what I want to do is create a student app maybe a student management app. Okay, so what would I put together? What goes together? Like with like. Certificate, I think certificate should go with project, right? And then student should be a separate app where I put those. So what would I call an app with certificate and student? No. I'm getting confused. With certificates and projects and lectures. Certificates, projects, and lectures. Would that be, let's think, utils? What would I call that? Certificates, lectures, and projects. Let's see. Python manage.py start app. Oh, I need to create the folder first, just like I did last time. So make directory inside of the apps folder. I guess I'm going to call it utils. No one seems to have a better name for it, so that's what I'm going to do. So utils, and yeah, that's fine. I can always change it later. All right, and now I can Python manage.py start start app utils. Oh, basically I want to put these lectures, certificates, and projects in the same app, in the same place, because I think those three go together. Unless you think I should make a separate app for each one. Well, let's think of how we want to arrange the URLs. I only wrote out /certificates, but I'll probably have, I guess I'll have /projects. Okay, so a Django app is a portion of the project that handles like users, gives me all of these files associated with users. So I get views, which is what I want to return to the client, all my URLs associated with it. Let's see, and then my models. So I'll make any models associated with user. So user, user profile, that kind of stuff associated with user. But for, let's say, certificates, I could make a whole app just for certificates and then have URLs, model, admin, everything just for certificates. Or I could kind of combine a couple and put a couple different things into one app. Does that make sense? All right, maybe what I want to do then is just create separate apps for now, and I can merge them into utils app later if I want, if that's confusing. So let me just create a certificates app then. I'll keep utils because I'll be making a utils folder anyways. So let me make certificates, because I think it's what I'm doing might be confusing. So let me just do it this way. So Python manage.py start app, and then this will be the certificates app, and that will be inside the folder app/certificates. Okay, so it created that app for me now. So now I have this whole new folder just for certificates. Let me close these. Delay. Oh, delay test? Oh, I guess you can hear the little popping sound anyway. How much is the delay? How long is it? 9.9 seconds. Ah, that's not great. I tested my internet today. I'm plugged in to the router, and it was about 100 down, 100 up, which isn't what I pay for, but you know, I don't know. I'm gonna test every day this week and see what the average is, and then call them if it gets slower. But I think the connection is fine. It's probably just YouTube that's causing me to lag, or the comments to lag a little. But I will be on Twitch soon. I'm slowly figuring out the platform, so that should be better for comments. Okay, anyway, what was I doing? In the certificates, so in my certificates app, let me first create a new file, and I'm going to call it urls.py because I'm going to need that. And then in my settings, I need to add the certificates app. So let me go into settings and my apps. So I have users. I'm going to add certificates. Okay. Cool. And now let's see. What should I do first? Let me add the certificates model here. So with users, when I did my models, I had to create this user manager, but that's just because I use users for auth. So now all I'm going to need to do is create a class for my certificates model. So I don't need a manager and all that other stuff. So I can create a class called certificate, and then extend from models.model. Okay, and now I need to create this model. So what did I want on this? Let me go to certificate. So I just basically want name and description. So name and description, and oh yeah, and then I'll do created at and updated at, and I'll make, I guess for right now, let me just add these created at and updated at, and I can always make these into a plugin later. Okay, so for name, this will be models dot char field, and then max length will be 100. Okay, and description will be models. So this could be longer. So I'll say this is a text field, so there's no max length to it. Anyways, only admins are going to be creating certificates. Okay, so created at, so this will be models dot, actually I'm going to put these because so many of my models are going to need created at and updated at. So I think what I'm going to do is go over to my handy other repo, this reasonable productivity web backend repo that I keep posting in chat. And I think, so if I go to apps, utils, I have this model that I've been importing and using. So it's, what do you call that? Mixin. So a timestamp mixin. Updated at, updated by, and deleted by. Yeah, that might be good information to save. Created at, updated at, deleted at, created by. So deleted at would work if I was doing soft deletes, which I think users in Django might be soft deleted. I'm not sure. But nothing else I'm doing is soft deleted right now. So I'm just going to set up the timestamps. So first, let me set up my utils app that I already created a folder for. So Python, man, oh, you have them on every record at work. That's a good idea. Maybe in version 2, I'll do all the rest of those. Okay, so Python manage.py, start app, utils, and then in the utils folder, so apps slash utils. Okay. Oops, clear. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna use the same thing. So basically this, models.date field, self-explanatory. Auto add now only adds the timestamp when the item's first created, and then updated at, this adds a timestamp. Auto now. I know these words aren't intuitive, I think, but auto now adds it every time it's updated. So maybe it is. I just keep forgetting what they are. Oops, no, don't close. Okay, so now let me go to utils and add that. Yeah, it's better to just do it now instead of waiting and then never doing it. Okay, so I have my timestamps. Oops. Okay, and now I have my timestamps mix in. So now I need to import this. So let me look at where I'm importing it into. Let me go into tasks, and I'm pretty sure I'm importing it into my tasks models. Yeah, I'm importing this timestamps there. So let me look, let me close this. So in my certificate model, so let me import timestamps, and then I need to inherit from timestamps from the timestamps class. So I think that will work. Let me just make sure I did that correctly. Timestamps. Okay, that's good. So that should be good. And let me, real quick, let me register my model in the settings. So, because I just added that utils model. So let me, for some reason I like having utils at the top. So let me register utils so I have access to it as an app. And then that should work. So now if I run, let me migrate now that I have their certificates model. So let me, Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, cool. So it made the certificate migration. Let me check and see what that includes before I actually run the migration. Oh wait, that's users. Oh, in here. Okay. So cool. So I have created at and updated at from my mixin. That's very good. That's exactly what I want. All right, so I did migration. So let me actually migrate before I take a break here. So let me do Python manage.py migrate. Okay, so it applied that migration that I made. Awesome. So yeah, so I'll set up, because right now, oh, my server's not running. So right now in my admin interface, I can't see the certificates yet. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to add certificates in admin and then set up the whole thing. So URLs, views, to be able to get certificates. Actually, yeah, I'll need to get a list of all certificates. So I will set up the URLs and views for that and the admin area, and then just bang through all these models when I get back. I can go ahead and push my code though, if anyone wants to look at it. So git commit, what should I call this? Second commit? Okay, that's fine. I'll think of better commit messages later. All right, so I just pushed my code. I'm gonna say, let me set a timer for 10 minutes, take a 10-minute break, and then I'll come back and code for at least another hour. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Hi everyone. I just ate a bagel, no cupcakes yet. I was just really hungry. Alright, so I'm gonna wait just a second and then jump back into the project. Yeah, who's still live with me? Post a comment in the chat if you've been following along. Alright, so I think that's enough time. Let me just first look at my task list. So I have all these tasks in my projects board on GitHub. Okay, thanks, Jared. Good to know. I'm just talking to myself. All right, so I have all these tasks on my project board in GitHub, and this certificate model. Yeah, so I kind of said create certificate model, which I already did, but I kind of meant that I want to create the whole certificate app, the admin setup, all of that stuff are included in this one task. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick before I mark that task as done. Let me run the server first. So python manage.py and then run server. Cool, no issues. And let's see, in the admin interface, I want certificates to pop up here. And then eventually I'm going to customize this admin interface, but I'm just going to, for today, I think I'm not going to change anything. I might actually, so when the front end is set up later, I'm probably going to copy the styles from the front end into this admin interface so it looks somewhat coherent or something. It looks the same, basically. Okay, so I have certificates. Let's see, models. That was pretty basic. Name, description, created at, updated at, certificates. I don't know what's going on, but I am watching. Oh, well, welcome to the world of coding, Kumar. You can look at, so this repo here that I've been working off of today, Student Management System, it's linked in the description below. Hi, Somesh. Yeah, everything is linked in the description below, and I've already pushed code twice today, so you can see everything I've been working on here. Let me refresh, actually. So I think, yeah, I just pushed 36 and 15 minutes ago, so you can see all the updated code. If you have any questions as I'm going along, just ask me. And you can also see, if you go into the projects board here, you can see these dev tasks that I'm working on and pulling into the done column as I finish them. So I'm in the Django admin interface, and let's see, I have users. Now I want to set up the certificates model here. So basically what I need to do, and I'm going to copy some of the code from my other admin.py file. Let's see. I don't need all this stuff. There are only 2 fields really on certificates. So all I'm going to copy is this. Let's see. And yeah, I won't even need this. So let me copy this, and I'm going to update it in a second. And then I'm going to have to register certificates. So let me copy this. Okay, now get rid of that and put that register down here. Oops. Register there. There. Okay, so now let me slowly update all this stuff. So from models, the only model I want to import here is the certificate model that I just created. Auth admin, I won't be importing any of that stuff. So let's see, certificate admin. So the certificate admin interface. So this should extend from what? What should it extend from? Let me see. Um, Let me actually go into my, where is it? Example repo that I've been looking at. Did I close it? I might have closed it. Let me see. Yeah, I think because I like hitting Command W all the time, so I closed it. Let me look in tasks. So let me look in the admin interface in tasks. And okay, so it's extending from admin.modeladmin. So that's the same thing I want to do here. Oops. Admin.modeladmin. Okay. Already importing admin. Now I need to, okay, admin.site.register. I want to register my certificate, which is my model name, and then the options for that model that I'm setting on certificate, on the certificate admin class I created. And of course I need to update all of this stuff, so get rid of all this. So in the table display, let's see, I'll just put name, I guess. Well, no, I won't. I'll put more stuff, but let's see. List filter, I might not do a list filter. So let me see how this looks right now. Save. Oh, I have some kind of error. The value of list display must be a list or a tuple. Okay, so I just need to add a comma here to make it a tuple. All right, so let me refresh here. Cool, so I have certificates now. So I can go in here, add a new certificate, name, completed level 1, I guess. Description, congrats. I don't know. All right, so now when I look at the list of certificates in the admin interface, I can only see the name here. So I want to see the created at and updated at fields also. So let me add those. Let's see, created at and updated at. Okay, cool. So I have those, and one more thing is I want to be able to search. So if I go into my users, where is it? My users right now, I can search by email address. So I'm going to set up the same thing. I'm going to add that search box to certificates as well. So let me go into the users admin search fields. So it's a search fields option. So let me set that here too. So search fields, and this is also a tuple. So I'm going to say, yeah, name. That's it. Okay. So, nope. Oh yeah, it worked. Okay. The server just had to catch up. All right. So I have that for certificates now. But on the front end, there is no URL for certificates. So I'm going to have to add URLs to this. And I'll need a serializer and a view and to update my URLs file as well. So let me start off with this, because with Django, with Django REST Framework, this URLs file is almost identical because I'm using the default router from the Django REST Framework. So I'm not doing much with URL patterns right now. So let me just basically copy this into this URLs file in my certificates folder, and then I'm going to make a new view set. So I'm going to call this certificate certificates or certificate. What was that called? User view set. So I guess I'll just call it certificate view set. Okay. Oh yeah. And then I have to update that. And that's pretty much it. And now in my views, I want to, let me look at my views. So the user views are a little bit special just because of like the password and creating new users and stuff. But I think I can just build off of that. I don't need to use this auth module, get user model, for the certificates. So I just need the serializer and view set. So, but my model, I will need to import my model that I just created. So I'm gonna import my certificate model up here. So let me import, no, I'm backwards. From dot models. So this models file in the same directory. I'm gonna import, the certificate class. So import certificate. Cool. And then here I'm going to rename this. So this will be certificate serializer. And then this will be certificate view set. And then the query set won't be the user, it'll be certificate from the certificate model. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I have to set the correct serializer as well. Okay. Oh yeah. And create, I don't need to do a custom create because I'm not doing anything special. So extra, no, I don't want extra. So all I want really here then is the name and then the description really. And created at and updated at fields are auto-generated, so I don't need to have them here. But actually, I might want to see them on the front end, right? So I should have created at and updated at. I don't know why I would want to see those on the front end for certificates, but I might. Okay, so ID, let me see how this looks. So, oh yeah, I didn't set up the URL in my main router. So let me go to my main URLs file in config. This will be API v1/certificates. And then include certificates, yeah. Include app users, apps certificates. I did call the app the right thing, didn't I? Certificates, yeah, it's plural. Okay. Just making sure. All right, let me see if this works now. Oh, it doesn't like something I did. Path API v1 certificates includes. So something is wrong. Let me open that file. Oh, I'm not, I didn't have a comma. So let me just add commas there. Okay, my server's running again. Unable to connect. Okay, it's connecting. Cool. So now let me try that new certificates wrap that I just made. And awesome, I can see the certificate that I just added. And then if I want to add a new one, I can just add name and description and make a post request. So let me say completed level 2. And then, yeah, just anything. Okay, so post worked. And now let me get again. And cool, so I get these certificates, and then again I can do certificates /certificate ID, so 1, and It says it's allow get, put, patch, delete on this item, and I can always disallow those later. Okay, so that's basically everything I wanted to do. It works in the admin interface, and it works as an API as well. All right, so how are you guys following along? How's everything going? It's 1:40 here. I have another hour or so free, so I can just keep going. I could do this every Sunday. Just another hackathon. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, in my dev tasks. Now that I set up certificate model, you're trying to fix the is student field. That would be awesome. Thank you. Or are you saying I should try to fix it? All right, so this waitlist model. So this waitlist model should be only for admins to see and to enter. So basically when we created this coding school, we were worried, or I was worried, that we wouldn't get any students interested, and then all of a sudden we had like 10 times as many students as we could accept. So we had to implement a waitlist system, which right now is in a spreadsheet. So we want to be able to see this and manage it from this interface. So right now you can enter it in through the admin interface, and then eventually I'd like to be able to upload a CSV file or maybe do group bulk updates or something. Yeah, so let me just create a basic model for that right now. Let me see. So yeah, let me create the model and then make it work in the admin interface. And then I'll push code after this one. So let's see, close these apps. Wait, close that. All right, so I need to create another app, and I'm going to call it waitlist. So let's see. Python manage.py. Let's see, start app. Oh wait, I keep forgetting. I need to make a folder first inside my apps folder. So I'll call it waitlist. It's not going to be plural just because there's just one waitlist. Okay, so now Python manage.py start app, and then it's called waitlist, and it's inside the app/waitlist folder. Yes, that would be awesome. Wow, did you figure it out? Yeah, we'll look at the PR as soon as you make it. Okay, Python manage.py start app waitlist apps waitlist. Okay, and now I should have this new app, waitlist app. Oops, waitlist. Let me go ahead and make the standard urls.py file, and I'll add this app into my settings under installed apps. So let me add waitlist here. Okay, so I have the waitlist app. Now let me set up the model here, and I can copy, let's see, what can I copy from? I'll copy from the certificates one. That's a pretty simple model here. Hi, how are you? Okay, so this is a pretty simple certificate model, and I'll just rename it to be, oops. Well, I guess I should call this like waitlist, because this model is just one person on the waitlist. Thank you. Glad you like it. So this is just one person on the wait list, so I can't call it the whole wait list. So I need to call this something like wait list item, wait list person. I'm doing well. Like I said at the beginning, it's my birthday, so feel free to send me cupcakes if you want. Cupcakes, cake, anything sweet. Okay. Waitlist. Should I call this waitlist entry? That could be just one individual waitlist person. I have to pick something. Waitlist. I can always rename it. I guess waitlist entry. And all the model stuff, I do want timestamps, which is especially important here. Cupcakes. Thanks for more cupcakes, Jared. All right. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I need to look at what I actually need in the model. So looking in the repo, if I go down to the schema, where is waitlist? Here. First name, last name, email, and notes. So I have email here and the name because these people are not logged into the app. They're just, thank you. These are just people that we enter in, so we keep track of them kind of on the wait list. Yeah, so first name, last name, email, notes. So let me change this. So I'll do first name, last name, and then email and notes. Okay, and so first name is yeah, it's a char field. Last name is also a char field. Emails. So email will be models dot email. Thank you. I don't know. You'll have to send an emoji, a virtual cupcake. I've been getting virtual cupcakes all day. Let's see. Email is, I think it's called email field, isn't it? It doesn't seem to be auto-completing. Let me go back. Email field. Max length. I don't even know if that's right. Let me look in user because I am using email over there. So let me go into models. Yeah, models.email field. I don't know why that was not, I guess, populating. I want all the same stuff because there's no reason to not have a unique email on the waitlist. Max length and verbose name. Yeah, all of that stuff is good. So let me do the same thing here. Okay, that's all good. And now for notes, this is going to be a text field because, you know, people can type in however many notes they want. Text field. Okay. Thank you. Ooh, donuts. Donuts sound really good right now. Who was from Boston earlier? There's this place in Boston called By Chloe, and they just have the best food. They have one in Seaport, one in downtown Boston, and one at Fenway Park, or they have a couple, I don't know. But they have the best dessert and donuts ever. They're just so good. And of course they have Boston cream donuts. Yeah, anyway. So email address, max length. Okay, so text field. So I think this is all done for a waitlist entry. And then because we're using timestamps or extending from timestamps. I don't think you are, Jared, but that would be cool if you were. Import timestamps. Yeah, so we're getting created at, updated at field. So let me go ahead and make this migration so I can set up that table in the database for waitlist. Let me see. Let me do Python manage.py. Okay, thanks. Yeah, you can comment in the chat if you have any questions or want to follow along. Join me on Discord and we can chat more. There's a Discord link in the description below. Python manage.py start app. What was I just starting? No, I'm not starting an app actually. I guess I am distracted. Making migrations. Okay, so I made this waitlist entry migration, and now I'll do Python manage.py and apply that migration with migrate. Okay, so now I have that set up, and now let me go into the admin and set up this admin area. And this is, I think it's going to be pretty simple, just like I did the, not users, but certificates. So let me start with that as a base. So let me import this waitlist entry model, and then let me do waitlist entry admin, and then here I'll do yeah, my model is waitlist entry, and then this is waitlist entry admin. So I'll register that with the admin. And now I have, what do I want to display? Let me get rid of these. I might have wanted those actually. Let me see actually. So I have first name, last name, email, and notes. So let's see. I think what I want to do is have a created at field on the table, and then search field. I think you can search through first name and last name, I guess. Last name. Yeah. Let me see how this looks. Let me run the server real quick. So Python manage.py run server. Oops. So it's not happy with how I set up the admin area for this. Learn some beginner things first? Sure. Yeah, if you join my Discord, you can recommend some topics or some live streams that I should do. I've been thinking about doing some intro live streams, like just come on and, you know, do an intro to JavaScript for an hour or two. Yeah, so let me know what kind of topics you want. Hi, Andre. Okay, so Python. Oh no, what am I reading? Apps.waitlist. What error is this? The value of list displays 0 refers to name, which is not callable. Oh, right, because I don't have name here. So it's first name. And then let me go ahead and add last name. Okay, so that should be correct. Yeah, my server's running okay now. Let me refresh this, and now I have waitlist and waitlist. See, Django does this. They will add an S to the end of everything to make it plural. So, because models are singular, but it just adds an S to make it plural here. So, I need to set the verbose name and tell it that in English, it is IES and not just S. So let me see. How do I code an e-commerce store that works with Shopify? Use Tailwind. So Shopify, well, it depends if you're using, I think Shopify, you can run it yourself or you can use their Shopify.com. They have this templating system. So I haven't used Shopify in years, but they have this templating system called .liquid. that was a lot for me to figure out. So I'm actually not sure how I would add, do an e-commerce store with Shopify. Yeah, I haven't used Shopify in so long. But the CSS, I remember the CSS was kind of easy to do, but it was the rest of the templating associated with the store that's really difficult, I guess, in their templating system. And maybe it's different now because I haven't even touched it in at least 4 years. So anyway, let's see. Waitlist config, views. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I need to set the verbose name. So how do I do that? Let's see. Django models. Thank you. Thanks, ServTech. I'm using Liquid. The only problem is I'm getting Tailwind compile. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know enough about Shopify config to be able to help with that. Sorry. Django models. Oh yeah, how do I set the verbose name? I think it's just like verbose underscore name. Oh yeah, verbose name plural. I think that's it. Wow, this is hard to read. I think this is what I want though. Somehow I got that. Let's go to models then in waitlist. So for waitlist entry, I'm gonna add, is it on models? Let me just open that again. So child models.model. Oh yeah, I need to add a meta class here. So class meta. Oh yeah, don't need that. And then add verbose name plural, and this is going to be, wait, open it one more time. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna say wait list entries instead of YS, it's IES. All right, now let me refresh that. Sweet. So now it's spelled properly. Please check the 4th issue. Oh, cool. Awesome. Just 1 second. Okay, so waitlist entries is good. Let me add a waitlist entry real quick. So Jane Doe, Jane at example.com, and then Jane is waiting for level 1. Save. Okay, cool. Awesome. And then it's searchable. And let me just, before I look at that issue, let me make filterable. No, I guess this is already, so I can already arrange this by date. So I don't need to filter anything there. I'm just going to leave that as it is. Cool. So let me look at the issue. Okay, so Code Django in the chat just added an issue here. Fixing a problem I had earlier. So in the users views.py file from REST Framework import, okay, class meta is student. So you have extra quargs commented out, or just be in the users list with a type of waiting or something. No, because the users list is just for logging into the site, and the waitlist people aren't logging in. So when they become a student, they can, I mean, unless you want people on a wait list to just register, just anyone who wants to wait. But they aren't really a student yet, so I was only letting students log in, students and staff. Okay. It's good we're solving all these problems live. Okay, so why did you, can I ask Code Django why you commented out, let me zoom in, this extra field, this extra kwargs, kwargs, because I have the password, I have these settings on the password that I want. Oh, you made some comments here. IsStudent is a custom field in the user model, so this field needs to be saved after the user is saved. Oh, okay. IsStudent validated data.pop IsStudent user. Okay, so the user saved, and then you save the IsStudent on the user. Cool. So let me try that. So I guess this kwarg or kwargs isn't part of the solution anyway. So let me see. Let me look at what I have right now. Thanks for solving that issue. Okay, so users. Let me go to views then. And in my, so def create. So in here, let me see. Okay, so it's the same as, this line is the same that I had. So I'm creating a user, passing in the validated data. Okay, so I'll get rid of that. First, I'm removing IsStudent from the validated data. Then I am saving the user, then adding IsStudent back, then saving it. Okay, cool. That looks great. Thank you. Let me test that out now. So let me, okay, the server's still running. And good, I saved the file. So let me go to the users here. So users, and oh yeah, right. I need to add IsStudent here. That's what I need to do. So let me add that back here. So IsStudent, so that way I get it in the form. Cool, so I'm getting it here. And I'm also getting this checkbox for IsStudent here. So let me add an email address. Let me add marshall@example.com. Password is the same. IsStudent check. Post. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, code Django just resolved my issue. He basically, I guess, cloned my code locally and figured it out. Let me give an emoji. Party and a heart. Okay, now I will close this issue. Sweet, thank you so much for that. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy about that. Okay, so that's figured out now. That wasn't in dev task though. Okay, so I have waitlist model. That's not going to show up on the front end. I can already interact with the waitlist on the back end. Jared's saying that waitlist person should be a user type, but similar to having a type of student. But the thing is a waitlist person going to log into the site? Because we're just adding all these people to a waitlist right now. I mean, we're just, okay, let's stop for a second. This is version 1, like MVP, version 0.1, you know, just getting it working. So I figured just having a waitlist table would be okay for right now. Okay, thank you, yes. Sweet, okay, we're done with that. Okay, so let me set up these models. And then some of these later models are like related, so there's different relationships between models. These ones have been easy so far because I haven't set up any like inter-model relationships. So let's see. And probably going to be on another 40 minutes, so let's see how many more models I can knock out. So lecture and projects, these, I need to create models. I also need to create the admin interface. And what else? What else? I need to, oh yeah, I'll need to be able to pull these into the front end. So I'll also need URLs and stuff for those. So let me start with the models. Let me create the apps first. So where am I? Lecture and project. So let me go there. So lecture comes first. So lecture will basically have the date that the lecture took place on or is going to take place on, the title of the lecture, the description, and a link to the slide deck for the lecture. And yeah, between the description and the slides, that should have all of the information needed for a lecture. Okay, so date, title, description, slides, URL. Let me create that model. Oh, first I need the app for it. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like separating all these apps because I'm going to have different relationships and URLs and stuff going on, so it's just easier to separate them. So let me do Python manage.py and then, oh, I didn't realize my face has been in the way when I've been creating apps this whole time. All right. There we go. So Python manage.py start, no, folder first. So one second. Okay, so first I'm going to make a new directory in the apps folder for my new app, which will be lectures. So lectures, and now I will do Python manage.py and do, oh yeah, start app, and then I'll do lectures and then apps/lectures. Okay, that's good. And now let me go over here again to lectures, and I'm going to create a urls.py file. Okay, good. And now in my, which file first? Models first. So let me go and steal once again from my waitlist. So let me look at my waitlist and go ahead and build from that. It's so nice when you get a bunch of code or a bunch of projects already written and then you're like, oh, I remember I did that. Or even a live stream or something. Oh, I did that before. And you go back and you find out exactly what you did. It's like your own personal Stack Overflow kind of. Okay, I don't need a verbose name because lecture can be made plural with an S, which is good. Okay, so lecture, yeah, I guess it'll have a timestamp. I still want a date because besides when it's created in the database, I want to know exactly when the lecture is taking place. So, oh yeah, so I guess it will be a date time technically because it'll be the time and the date for the lecture. Okay, so anyways, lecture, so there will be a title and what else would there be? Date, title, description, and slides URL. So let's see. So title, description. Let me get rid of these. Date and slides URL. All right. So slides URL. Let me just say models.charfield max length equals, let me stop that icon from bouncing. 1 second. My app wants to update right now. Okay. That's my notes app, so I always have it open pretty much. Okay, so slides URL, max length, I'll just say 255. Date, so this will be models dot date field. Yeah, I don't know if I need any options there. And then description, I want to change this so to a text field. And then no max length in there. And then title will be a char field, max length 100. Okay, so I think that's it. And then I get created at, updated at timestamps on here. So am I missing anything? I don't think so. Let me go ahead and run the migration for that. So Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, and now Python manage.py and migrate. Okay, now before I set up the admin and everything, I do want to push this code to GitHub so anyone following along can look at the code. So I'm going to do git status. So lectures, waitlist, certificate changes. Okay, and now I'll do git. Oh wait, I added new things, so let me add those 2 new apps. And now git commit dash m. What should I call this? I don't know. Added new apps. Okay, so good. And now let me git push. And now all the code on GitHub is updated. Do we need a lecture? That's a good point. So we have title, description, date, slides. So should I add a field for like the name of a lecturer? Because we either have like a volunteer or a guest or somebody or one of our regular, staff members lecturing. So they may or may not be a user in this app. So maybe for right now, for MVP, I can just have let's see. Oops. Lecturer name and make it models.char field. Max length is 100. Yeah, that's a good point. Lecturer name. And then I can also make this field, let's see, I could give it a default or make it nullable. I'll give it a default so you don't really have to add the lecture. Oh wait, then I'll have to say blank equals true, right? Blank equals true. Oops. Okay. That way you don't have to add the lecture. And then just for linting, let me see. Okay, now Flakegate's not complaining, so I think that's good. Cool. So now that I added this field though, I have to make a new migration. So let's see. Python manage.py make migrations. No changes. Oh, let me put in the specific app because there should be a change here in lecture. Let's see. Migrations. So actually there's nothing in migrations here for lectures. Why? I thought there were migrations here. Oh, have I? Is it because I haven't registered the app? I think that's it. Because the password field is type password, so we officially define it in the serializer class. Maybe that's a message from a while ago. I'm not sure because we moved on from users. I'm not sure what that chat message is referring to. Let's see. Oh, please check my comment. Maybe I missed a comment. Because, no, I only see the comment because the password field is type password, so we explicitly define it in the user class. 1 second. Okay, so I do have waitlist. Oh, I didn't add the lectures app here. That's why I didn't catch the migration. So, oops. Let me just add the lectures app. Is it called lectures? Yeah, it's called lectures. Okay. Good. So let me go to users real quick. And you're saying because the password field is type password, so we explicitly define it in the serializer class. Okay. You mean here in the serializer class? I'm not sure what you mean by the comment you made. I'm not understanding. Okay, so let me just run the migrations again. Now that the app, yeah, so now it created the model. Okay, so now I can do Python manage.py and migrate. Okay, cool. So, oh yeah, then I don't have an updated migration because I accidentally never ran it in the first place. So now it created lectures with the lecturer name field. Cool. All right, so now let me move my face down. I'm always worried about my face getting in the way. Okay. And now let me add lectures to the admin interface. So, let's see. Where am I putting? Okay, let me copy from another. Let me just get a copy from certificates admin. That's simple. By the way, Code Django, are you a Django developer? Are you learning Django, or you just are a Django lover? I'm guessing because your name is Code Django. Okay, so let me call this lecture admin and then import the lecture model for this admin setup. So lecture, and then here I'm gonna do lecture and then lecture admin. Okay, and now in here I need to set my model fields. So let's see, I want to display title, and I guess lecturer name and dates are important just in the regular table. Of course, you can see all the information when you go into the lecture, but those fields at least you should be able to see in the table list view. So lecturer name and then date. Okay, I think those fields are good. Search fields, you should be able to search by title, and you should be able to filter by lecturer name, really. You can order the table by date, so I'm not worried about that, but you should be able to start typing in a lecturer name and see what lectures they've given. So let me add oh no, that would be search. That would be search, yeah. Okay, so, oops. Okay, so lecturer name here too. Okay. Lecture duration. Man, you're just coming up with all kinds of new fields. Duration. So do we need a duration? So right now our lectures are only 2 hours long. They're all 2 hours long. So, and that's another thing, you know, because we could have guest speakers at a different time outside of lectures. So should we call it a lecture or should we call it meetings or something? I don't know. Date duration. Yeah, let me add a duration because let's see. So lectures plus are usually required for the students to attend. Or they're supposed to attend though. But we have like guest lectures or guest speakers that come in. Like say if class is Monday and Wednesday, students come at 6 p.m. every Monday and Wednesday for lectures, but then we have a guest coming on Sunday and they don't have to attend that one. So how do we mark that as different? And that again, that would be a different time. So we could do like an is required field. And then here, I guess we would put duration as well. Oops. Duration, which would be time in hours. So that would be an integer field. Duration. So I would set the help text on duration, I guess, to advise people to enter in a number of hours. So what do you think about these updates? Like, is it a required lecture? Or basically, is it part of the curriculum or is it extra? And then the duration in hours. Let me go ahead and start the duration. So models dot integer field, and then I think I can set min equals 1 and max equals, what would be the max? 6 if we're doing a hackathon? I don't know. I'll just do a max of 10. Nobody's going to go longer than 10 hours. Okay, so I don't even know if it's called min and max, but I'm assuming it is. And so for duration, and then we also want some special help text. So let me see. Help text. I think it's called help text. Let's see. Django models help text. You can just add help text. Yep, it looks right. Okay, so help text would be enter number of hours. Okay, and now for is required, this would be a models dot boolean field, and then this would default to true. So unless they set it as false, meaning it's like a guest lecture or something specific, then it'll just be a regular lecture if it's required. Yeah. Okay. So that looks better, I think. So should I run another migration? Yeah, why don't I try it? All right, nobody said anything, so I guess it's good. Let me do Python manage.py make migrations, and that should make a new migration. Oh, got an unexpected keyword, min. Type of lecture. Do I need a lecture type? First, let me look at Django integer field min and max. Let's see. Oh, do I have to add it as a validator? let's see. Let me look. Min. Oh, it keeps coming up with admin. Min value validator and max value validator. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so raises a value error with the code of min value if value is less than limit value, and then okay, so min value, so limit value, and let me see. So there's max value validator and min value validator. If value is greater than limit value. So limit value is a callable. Yes, it is. I have 3 foster kittens that are almost ready for adoption. Wednesday I have to give them up for adoption. So I'm just enjoying them while they're here. They're 8 weeks old now, so they're big and wild and yeah, basically little troublesome child kitties. But they're so cute though. They're ginger kitties. Limit value. So what is limit value then? How do I set limit value? If it's a callable, so I guess I can create a function called limit value. And where do I... Okay, let me look at Django limit value. So I think if I just create a function on that class, let's see, defaults. Not exactly. Oh, so I can set min value and max value. Okay, that's easier. I don't need any other calculations. So just min value and max value. Have you deployed the app you created in Vue with Django as a backend? No, I'm still working on that one. So that's the reasonable productivity one. I did like 3 live streams in Django, and then I've done 2 Vue live streams for that app so far. Or no, I did like 4 Django and then 2 Vue. Front end needs a lot of work in that app, so it's not ready for deployment. Plus, I was kind of getting used to Nuxt and getting that all set up, but I'm hoping in the next few weeks I'll have a pretty good MVP set up for that app. And then my curriculum app is about to be deployed, and then for the other app, just going down all my apps here, Regex Breakfast, I'm getting, I hired a designer to redesign that app, so I'm waiting for the designs to come back, and then I'm going to do a live stream of me implementing designs for that app. Which is so much better than the live stream I did before, where it was me and 2 other developers trying to design an app, which went horribly. We made it look awful. Thanks. Yeah, I should be doing that later this week. Okay, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, I updated min and max value here. So what was that thing you suggested, Cigar? Oh, type of lecture. Do I need type of lecture? Type. So that's the thing about type is I would think that type would be like an enum. So it would be a choice field. Like you could choose between types. So either I would need to make hard code a set of tuples to or a list of tuples to basically say that here are all the types, or I need another database table for lecture types, which I think is overkill right now. So let's see. I think I might add that to version 2. Oh yeah, I have my README locally, so let me update the README here, because I don't know how to handle that right now. So let me add it down here. So you have 2 new issues. Wow. Okay, I'll look at those in a second. So set type of lecture. Add type field to lecture model. Okay. All right, so I think this is okay for right now. We added is required and we added duration. So cigar? Why cigar? Is this a pop culture reference? Because I probably won't get it. Yeah, someone explain to me what that means. All right, so now let me try the migration to make the migration again. Nope. Oh, unexpected keyword min value. So maybe that's from Python 2 or something else. So I think I might need this limit value after all. Let me go back. Django limit value. How to limit the field. So, okay, so that's a whole other thing. So what if so in validators, I think I need to set a validator, right? So, wait, let me go to, okay, so integer field and then set a validator, and then I can import validators, so I could put validators in my, maybe I should put a validators.py file in my utils, because I'll probably be making more validators. So let me see. So oh, cigar. Oh, I didn't realize that. Sorry. That's cigar. I guess American people mispronounce it all the time then. Let me make a validators.py file in utils. And then here, get text lazy. Yeah, so let me do some importing here. Let me just steal this. My validators. I don't need this translation. So I have this validation function now. Let's see. Validate. I want to validate. I don't know. Should I just take out the validation? Do it later. I kind of want to validate, the min value and the max value for this. Let me see. So if, yeah, and plus this is so custom, it's not like I can reuse a validator for this, unless what I do is pass in, I guess, like a min value and a max value. So no, because the value is automatically passed in here. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it without the validator and hope that any sane person will not put a ridiculous number there. So help text. I'll just leave the help text. That's fine. Okay. I'll leave this file intact. Wait, so there. I'll leave the validators.py file because I'm sure I'll need it later. Okay. I join your streams because I like Vue a lot and I see you as a Vue expert. Thank you. I like Vue a lot too. Obviously, that's probably my favorite thing to do. Django's my second favorite for streaming so far. I actually just started. So before I used to use Flask for everything. Like if I was making a Python API, I would do it in Flask. And then I did some Python services and stuff. I didn't start using Django till last year because I saw it as like this Ruby on Rails type thing. And I guess, I don't know if scared's the right word, but I was just thinking, oh, I don't want to get involved in that and learn all this boilerplate. And then I started using it and I started liking it because I got tired of setting all this stuff up by myself. And Django does a lot of this for me. Okay, so lectures. Now I need to be able to pull lectures into the front end. So let me do, what time is it? Wow, is it really 2:36? Man. This stream just flew by. How long? 3 hours and 35 minutes. That's unbelievable. This is twice as long as my longest stream. Which is good. It felt fine to do. Hopefully it was interesting to watch. Okay, so I have lectures. Now let me add URLs and views here. So I'm going to copy it from certificates. So except let me just update these two things again. So what is it? Lectures or lecture view set. And then, okay, and now I need to create the view set. So let me go in here and in certificates. Where's certificates? Okay, so in certificates, in views, I'm going to copy this too over to here. Oops. Oh well. All right. So I'm importing serializers, view sets. I need to import the correct model. So I need to import the lecture model and then certificate's a long word. Okay, so lecture serializer. And then down here, one more time, I need to do lecture view set. By the way, I'll be streaming Vue again Wednesday morning on this channel. So it should be 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, just like normal for Vue. And maybe I'll make that stream longer, maybe a couple hours of Vue to work on that app. So let's see, lecture, the lecture model. Okay, and then here I need this to be lecture. And then a lot of this stuff is just, the same stuff I set up in other apps. So lecture serializer. Now the fields, I need to change some of these fields though. So let me go into the model and see. So I have the title, description. Thank you. Is your name Gerardo or Gerardo? Miguel? It's probably Gerardo, I'm guessing. Okay, so ID, I do want ID. Let me put this on 2 lines. So there. All right, so title, description, lecturer name. I do want ID, so I'm going to start, I'm going to start here with title, description, lecture name, and then date, duration, slides URL, and is required. So date, duration. Oops. Yeah. Okay. And then slides URL and is required. So for this one, I really don't think I want the created at, updated at on the front end. You can see that from the admin interface, but I don't see any reason to put it here. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I think I don't need that anymore. Let me go to, oops. Oh, I'm not running the app. Help text. Got unexpected keyword. Oh, okay. So what was I doing now? Oh, so I never actually ran the migrations, did I? You're trying to add a non-nullable field duration to a lecture without a default. Okay, so fortunately, Django gives me these prompts that let me fix the fields already in the database, so I'm going to provide a one-time default. So duration is an integer field, so let me add 2. Okay, cool. And now I can do Python manage.py migrate. Awesome. So I have now, it added this second migration. So it's basically adding a field duration and adding the is required field to the lecture model. Okay, cool. And I ran that migration, so it's updated in the database. All right. So let me run my server. So Python manage.py run server. Okay. And now, yeah, so this is already, oh no, it wasn't working because I never successfully ran anything. All right, so here's all my different fields for lectures. I'm assuming they're all working because I was able to migrate fine, so that's okay. And now let me finish up my views. So in my front end, I think I have all of the fields that I want in my front end. And I also have the URLs set up. So let me just, I think the only thing left to do is to, not in there, in my config URLs, I think here I'll need to set up lectures. So lectures, and then lectures, yeah. So I think that's good. Pending issues. Okay, 1 second. All right, my server restarted, and now let me look here. And I'm just going to test out the lectures URL. Cool, awesome. I can do CRUD operations for lectures now. Okay, so you're saying you added issues to my repo. 5 issues now. Okay, so waitlist fields. Okay. So I need to add this level 1 or level 2. And then this is probably a document that's private, so I shouldn't open it on a live stream. So I'm not going to do that. Because it might have our students' information. So, okay, so I can add that to waitlist real quick. So let me close this. Let me go into waitlist. Where's waitlist? Here it is. My waitlist app. And then in models, Oh, the docs can be opened. Okay, I wasn't sure. So first name, last name, email, notes. So what I can do here is I think I can add, let's add, so I could add a full name function, and then, oh, this would have self, right? And then I could return, oh wait, I don't do this on models, do I? Or do I do it on, I think it is on models, isn't it? And let me make an F string so I can do self dot first name, and am I doing this right? Someone correct me. And self dot last name. Okay, I think I can do that for full name. And then for level, I think I should add level here. So I can do models dot integer field. Integer field. And then I think I can add verbose name here, and that would be class level. I can change that later. Okay, so I think this is correct. Let me see. Hi, nobodies. How are you? It's good to see you in the stream again. All right, let me do a migration. I know, 4-hour stream. Crazy, right? Let me do a migration for the, I was hoping to get this done in one stream, but it looks like I'm going to need 2 4-hour streams to really get this working. Good, awesome. Glad to hear it. If the rest of you don't know, Nobody's has been in my streams since I basically started, since I had like maybe 1,200 subscribers or something, since I started live streaming. Cool. What kind of keyboard are you buying? I bought a new keyboard too, but wait, you can see, unplug it. There are no keycaps, so I'm still learning what the keys are and programming all the keys as I want them, which is going to take me like a month. Oh, cool. Brown are my favorite too. I always get brown. They seem a good mix between like cherry red and tactile and stuff. Looks healthy. You mean I look healthy or the keyboard does? The keyboard is super ergonomic. It makes my hands feel good. It's just, it's bending my mind right now trying to learn it. Okay, so what was I just doing? Oh yeah, so I added this levels field, and now I want to make a migration for it. So I'm going to do python manage.py make migrations. So I need to provide, okay, so level is not nullable. Let me get out of that. So should level, okay, I'm going to set a default for level actually, because almost everybody signs up for level 1 first. Maybe that's going to change in the future. Oh yeah, you're fine. But I'll set a default so that way it won't argue with me when I'm making this migration. Okay, so it made a third migration in waitlist, and it added that field level. Okay, cool. So now I can do python manage.py migrate to apply that to the database, and very, very good. Okay, so currently, oh, I didn't see you added another comment with all this stuff. Currently we have Google Forms, interest form. I'd like to have them manually. Okay, well, I'm going to have to look at this issue. I was ready to close it, but I'm going to have to look at that issue later. Let me look at enrollment form real quick. How much of this data should be moved to... Okay, those are things I'm going to have to look at after the stream. This is a lot more. Everything when you're thinking about building something, it seems like, oh yeah, I can get that done. And then it turns into like 100 other things. And I spent hours planning this app, so I thought I had it all, but I didn't. So let me push my code, what I've done so far. So okay, so it has all my new migrations, utils, all the files. That all looks good. Okay, so I'm going to do a blanket add period. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Thank you, Python programmer girl. Are you the first girl that's commented in my live stream? Maybe. I'm glad you're watching. Okay, so free code school API. What did I just do? Oh yeah, I just added, so let me commit -m. Hi, thank you. Thank you, Francis. So let's say final commit from live stream on June 14th. I know what today is because it's my birthday and I'm about to go eat a whole bunch of cupcakes. And then maybe finish watching Better Call Saul because I am on the 4th season and that TV show is so good and I almost never watch TV shows, so but for some reason that one just hooked me in because it's very well made. It also has to do with Breaking Bad, so if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, you have to watch that first. But yeah, so okay, I pushed the code and now it should be live and working. So let's see. Yep, 38 seconds ago. So all the code is live here, which is in the description below. I actually have to leave at 3:10 to go somewhere. So, and eat cupcakes. Oh, you're on the 3rd season? It's so good, right? That show is just so well made. Like everything, the storytelling, the acting, everything. Okay, yes. So anyway, thank you all for your birthday wishes. I am going to be streaming again, yeah, another long stream, maybe next Sunday actually, to finish up this app. And I'll still be streaming Wednesday morning, so if you want to see Vue.js, you can see me streaming the Vue.js application this Wednesday, and I'm going to post that stream later today. So thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah, join me on Discord. It's in the description. Also, if you want to see the front end of this application, Jared, this guy in the chat, the Jared Wilkert, is going to be streaming this application right after this ends. Thank you. Thank you, Cigar. Thanks. Yeah, so go watch Jared. I'm going to post it in the comments after the stream ends, where his stream is, so you can go follow him on Twitch, not on YouTube. He's on Twitch. Yeah, thanks. Have a great night, everyone. Take care. Send me virtual cupcakes in Discord.